Hi there, this is Lisa Smith, Kindred Stitcher. This is a Flosstube channel about cross stitch. Today is August 3rd, and it's been a little while since I've been online, but I have been very, very busy with work. So I've been working and stitching and not a lot else. Not even a lot of buying, which is out of character for me. But welcome to my channel. Last time we had a giveaway, and I asked you to shout out some of your favorite Flosstubers, and I have 5 pages of notes. So I'm going to go ahead and, at first I thought I was going to just say, hey, so-and-so shout out these people, but there were so many comments that that's just not even possible. That would be like its own video. And in fact, there are so many people shouted out that I'm not going to put them in the drop-down box below. I will read them carefully, and if you're on the search for someone and you can't find them, just comment below and I will see if I can clarify it for you. So here we go. Here are the shout outs. Annie, the proper stitcher. Okay, so remember the last video, if you watched it, I was talking about I think it's Brenda Gervais pattern. It's either Brenda Gervais or I think it's Brenda. It's the Summer at Cherry Hill, the girl with the red dress. Well, Annie's the one that was working on that, or maybe she'd even finished it. So Annie, the proper stitcher. Lisa, Prims on Greenway. I can't wait to meet Lisa in, I think she's going to the retreat at Quilter Station in September. Bonnie, Log Cabin Stitcher. Brenda and Laura from Brenda and the Serial Starter. Elizabeth from Elizabeth and Can Stitch. Deb and Liz from Country Stitchers. Niecy Lynn. Okay, I'm just going to say, if I need to just have a smile on my face, I go to Niecy Lynn's channel because she just makes me laugh. And Niecy is, I think it's Nieciellynn. Mama, Michelle from Mama Loves You GB. I watch hers frequently. Sarah Stitches. I went and checked hers out. Nikki Noodles. Noodle or Noodles, and I think it's Nickie, Noodles. I hadn't watched it. I'd heard her people shout her out. I just hadn't had a chance to watch her yet, and so now I'm falling down the rabbit hole. Fox and Rabbit, that is Brendan and Karen. They're from Australia, and there are people shouted out from several different countries here. So Carol Saltbox Stitcher, Kim from the Contented Stitcher, Sherry, Colorado Stitcher, Carol and Jennifer from Two Tall Stitchers, Chrissy from Finally a Farm Girl, Christine from Hollis Hands Creates, HOLLIS Hands Creates, Colleen from Lockaby, LOCKABEE Stitches, Kim from Barbara's Daughter, Kathy and Nancy from The Inspired Needle, Nicole from Nicole's Needleworks, Olivia from Pumpkin Hollow Quilts, Anna from Stitch Roadies or Quilt Roadies. Anna's hilarious. I love, so we Zoom once a month, and I enjoy chatting with her. She's with a group that we Zoom with. Teresa from Kitten Stitcher, Shanda from Stitching in Idaho, Vicky from the Virginia Stitcher. I hadn't watched this one yet, and I just started watching it. Several people shouted out Chris from Chris X Stitch, and I watched his first video. I really enjoyed him a lot. Jessie from Jessie Marie Does Stuff. She's one of the OG Flosstubers. Jody from Trixie Tricycle. She's pretty hilarious. She's a local girl too. She's in Washington State. Amanda from Alba Stitcher. Oh, she's from Scotland, as is this another Amanda, whose channel name is Booze Mum 11. That's BOOSMUM11. I think that channel comes from her cat's name, if I recall. Jean from Jean Farish, FARRISH. Lori from Lori Holt, of course, right? Celeste from Celeste Creates. Teresa from Teresa Kogut. Teresa's a designer, and I can't wait to see her at the Midwest Retreat this fall because she's now a stitcher. She's not just a punch needler. I shouldn't say just. That's not fair. She is a stitcher and a punch needler now. Terry and Jamie from Cornhusker Stitchers. Pam and Steph from Just Keep Stitching. Susan Stanley from A Stitch in Time. I messaged Susan because I'm off this week and we're going to try and get together the next couple weeks because she's also a local Washington girl. Mary Ashcraft, Ashcraft. She's a younger stitcher. Mandy Parker. Jennifer, the Calculated Stitcher. Deb. Okay, so this is Punch Needle and Primitives magazine. I did not know they had a Flosstube channel. It's also Rather Be Stitching. But if you put in Punch Needle and Primitive magazine and then you click on the video tab, she has 2 videos. So her name is Deb. And then Christy from Daisy K's Primitives. Valerie from Stitching in the Barn. I love Valerie. Debbie from Mama Bear Stitchery. Pam from Stitching in the Land of Good Enough. That wins the award for the best channel name, in my opinion, honestly, because I'm with you, Pam. Sometimes it's just good enough and we just got to move forward. We just got to be done with it and moving on. Lori from Mischievous Stitches. Christina from Wild Iris Naps. That's WHILST. And then the name Iris, IRIS Naps. And she's a designer, and I bought her last release because I love everything that she makes. Daylene from So Grateful. Stephanie from Stitch Goes My Heart. Stephanie, it's time for another video. I don't know what's going on, girl, but I'm missing you. Melanie from Melly Ellie Stitches. She's hilarious. Melly is MELYELLY Stitches. The next channel is Hannah, HANNAH, Dowling, DOWLING. This is a lot, right? This is why this isn't going in the drop-down box. Jacob from Modern Folk Embroidery. Yvette Stanton, that's YVETTE, Stanton, STANTON. And she has a channel called White Threads Flosstube. And she does more of the, I think the pulled work or hardanger, white work. And I've watched her first video. I'm not sure that I've watched more than that, just simply because I think I subscribed to about 500 channels now. But hers is very interesting. It's different. Priscilla and Chelsea from the Real Housewives of Cross Stitch. Betsy Kleger, which is KLEGER. If you need a laugh, watch Betsy's channel. She's so funny. Christy from Java Girl Stitches. Sylvia from Running with Needles and Scissors. She's one of my favorites. Helen D. Helen always has great finishes. Lori Wilson from Thread Milk Designs. I believe I shouted her out last time. Lynn from Lancashire, LANCASHIRE, Stitcher. Now she's from England, and if you watched her last video, she talks about the different dialects in England, the different dialects and what's the word? Oh, you're shouting at me right now, right? Accents. I knew it would come to me eventually. So it was kind of fun to listen to her talk about that. Jean from Monticello Stitcher. I want to say that, oh, she's a designer. And so check her out. Shelly from Just Stitching Inc. And Nicola from Bumble Stitches. Megan from Wide Eyed Stitcher. Marissa and Jill from Knit and Stitch. Crystal, which is KRYSTAL, Rowe, ROWE. Artie from the Vintage Stitcher. Angela from Interlocking Loops. Janet Jabber, who I just adore. She's so cute. Eva, and her channel is called A Mom in Her Car, and that's all written together. So if you search and you put spaces between the words, you probably aren't going to find it. I had to go back. I'd already subscribed to her, so it came up, but it's AMOMANDHERCAR. So the whole thing together. Leah Noel from Aviatrix, AVIATRIX Stitcher. Jennifer from Violets and Verses. Barbara, the Raspberry Stitcher. And Sharon, Sampler Style. Holy cow. You see why this won't fit in the drop-down box below? Plus, it'll take a month of Sundays for me to put it in there. And I got stitching to do. All right. So I am going to drop in, before I start talking about whips and some haul, I do want to go ahead and talk about last time's giveaway. And the two items that were up for grabs were this out of print Blackbird, which is called Justice for All. I'm having that framed right now, and hopefully that'll come back from the Stitcher in the near future sometime. So I'm passing this on, and the winner is, I'm going to insert the video right here. Here is the giveaway winner for Justice. Once Upon a Stitch, Lori, yay! The new Flosstube she's been enjoying is Virginia Stitcher. I would love to stitch Justice because it's out of print. I'd pass along to others who can stitch it. Thanks, Lori. You are the winner. So congratulations, Lori. Please get a hold of me at my email in the drop-down box below, and I will comment on your comment. And the next winner is for this one. This is Hands-On Design. This is a finishing kit. I'm not sure if the pattern is in here or not. I think it must be. But this is called The Language of Liberty, I believe is what it's called. And so the keyword search was Liberty. And so I'm going to go ahead and insert the video of the winner here. And here's for the Liberty package from Hands-On Design. Elizabeth Pendleton. She enjoys stitch roadies and pumpkin hollow quilts. Justice and Liberty. I love the Patriotic samplers chart. Thanks, Elizabeth. I'm going to go ahead and put my information below. Congratulations. So congratulations, Elizabeth. Please also email me at the address below, and I will have another giveaway at the end of this video. Congratulations to the winners. Now, so I have, well, first let me talk about whips and finishes. I'm going to talk about them together because I've been a stitching fool, and I would say that this one was in the works last time I had a video. I showed this to you. This is Where Liberty Dwells by Brenda Gervais. And this is on 40 count fresco by Picture This Plus, which is one of my very favorite linens. I love it. It's sort of a grungy, it's got kind of a grayish, bluish, greenish, subtle splotches in it. And here's the second one. This one wasn't even started last time. So I did a couple changes. I changed the white to, I think, regular. It's either B5200 or DMC white. And then inside the stars was supposed to be parchment or eggshell. I can't remember which one. I changed it to the blue because it shows a whole lot better on my fabric. So these two I will add to my pile to be fully finished that's ever growing. It's okay. I'm on vacation this week, so maybe I'll get around to FFOing some things, but probably not. Let's be honest. I got some other things going on. My husband on Thursday says, I'm going to go ahead and take the floor up in the kitchen this week. I'm like, what? So we are going to sell our house in a couple of years, and we have some projects that we want to do. And we're the king and queen of about 90% of all projects get done. And then there's just a little bit that doesn't get done until we get ready to sell the house and we finish everything. So my mantra is, let's finish the whole thing. Let's not take forever to get the whole thing done. Let's enjoy it. Well, I was mad because I'm like, I'm not going to spend my vacation cleaning up the thing that you started. And so he started it, and he had to rip up the flooring. It was linoleum, and we bought this luxury vinyl flooring. That's a new thing, I guess. And he had to buy like a heat gun to help release the adhesive off the floor. And it sort of created almost like humidity of a chemically smell. So when I came out of my room where I was working, I'm like, oh no, I grabbed all my samplers off the walls and covered them with blankets. So I'm like, that's the last thing I need is for things to just start falling apart. It's not going to happen, but it's okay. So he's working on the floor this week, but I just protested. I said, I'm not going to go along and start fixing it, working on this just because you're at work. So anyway, you don't care about that. Someday I will sit down in my craft room and get some smalls fully finished. And that's what it is. They're just smalls. And I also worked on a Patriot sampler. So I'm back to my blonde and brunette rotation. And this is my blonde. My blonde and brunette rotation are, my blonde is a lighter color palette. My brunette has a darker color palette. I like that balance. I switch them from week to week, which gives me enough time to make some progress on the design if I have stitching, a lot of stitching that week. Some weeks, you know, work is just even, and some weeks, you know, the accelerator is on the, your foot's on the pedal and you're going 100 miles an hour. So it just depends on what's going on. But this is my blonde, my current blonde. This particular pattern, this designer is no longer producing patterns, but the Attic needlework can get this pattern. So if you want this pattern, call the Attic. Now take a look at this, right? So this is the colorway that shows up in the picture of this particular pattern. It looks dark, right? It looks like it's got kind of some blues and blacks, and it's hard to say. Well, if you've been watching me, you'll see that that's not at all how it stitches up. This is the colorway, and I love this. So I did substitute an XG red. I bought a bunch of red of hers called Mariska's Red, which is a beautiful red color. And I think I pretty much used the rest of it called for. I'm going to come over this way because it's hard to tell with lighting. And of course I didn't pick one of those, something to put behind it. Let me see if maybe this will help. Yeah, it helps a little bit. But I did the middle section. I was going to see if I could just power through this and then do my video after, but honestly, I needed to sit down and do this video. I've got a lot of things to do this week when I'm off. Look at that little center motif. Wouldn't that just be an adorable pin keep? You could just stitch that and make it a small. Or the bottom with all the fireworky kind of plants. And this says, what does that top area says? It says, what I haven't stitched yet, democracy does not guarantee equality of conditions. It only guarantees equality of opportunity. And then this unstitched section here says, from every mountain side, let freedom ring. So that will be stitched. I imagine at the next video, that's probably going to be done. I'm going back and forth from week to week. And that is my blonde. The next one, which is my brunette, is Hoity Toity. I don't know what it is about this one. I absolutely love it. And I want to say I'm stitching it. It looks like a 40 count. It might be pecan butter. This is a long dog samplers. And there are some people that are stitching them in overdyed. Some people are stitching them in silks. I'm stitching them in the DMC. And I honestly think this is my favorite colorway. I did stitch some. I stitched this on the side so that it would fit in my 11 by 17 Q-snap, and I can stitch two-handed. Hold please, let me see if I can put something behind this to help. Okay, this is terrible. You guys get the hint. You can see it good enough. This is the softest, prettiest colorway. Look at how pretty that is. It is gorgeous. And it's so striking. The contrast is so striking. Oh my gosh, it's so gorgeous. So honestly, I just sat down, and where I was last time when I started this back up is I was stitched down to here. So I finished, I started here. This was done. I stitched this and this. And I stitched that last week. So she's going quickly, and I imagine probably in about, well, it's pretty stitch dense. I would say it's going to take me, what, like maybe a month, and it'll be done. I don't know. 3 rotations? I have no idea. People ask me how long it takes to do things, and I don't keep track of it. I just can't be bothered. I got too many things to do. But I want to show you my fully finished project, and that is Ann Dale. Ann Dale is by Shakespeare's Peddler, and this is Ann Dale, Big and Beautiful, and she is big and she is beautiful, and I love stitching her every single minute. I will say that I stitched the top border and the top row in 2018 when I started it, and then I put it away until earlier this year, and I stitched the rest of her this year, off and on. So I would say that I might have stitched on her a little bit last fall. No, I think I didn't pick her up until January this year. The colors are just gorgeous. This is 40 count vintage patina by Lakeside. And once I have this framed, I will do like maybe a closer up tour of it. The colors are mostly the same. There is a silk that I converted. I changed from the light pink. The light pink color that this is charted in is sort of a cotton candy pink, and it was a little too bright for me. So I picked more of a corally pink. I'm going to come a little bit closer so you can see her in sections. Any one of these motifs would make a beautiful little pin keep. So this pattern alone, just for the smalls, you could stitch your, make it as a gift if you wanted to. The bottom, it was fun to stitch. And so some things that I changed on this is if I didn't like the colors together on this fabric, let me give you a for example. Like I think this here was charted in pink, red, and gray, like this gray color. And I didn't like it, so I changed it. And then down here at the bottom, this was all like tan. And I was like, nope, it needs a little bit of color, so I changed it, right? So this is the beauty of a reproduction sampler. The person reproducing it is going to try and be as close as possible to the reproduction, but the stitcher gets to choose what they want to do, right? You get to make it the way you want it to be, because this is going to hang on your wall, or my wall in this case. It's not going to hang on your wall, but yours will hang on your wall. And for all the people who have just followed along on the progress of Ann Dale on Instagram or Flosstube, and all the people who bought patterns because they were enabled, good for you. You will love, love, love stitching this. One thing I did change too, and I followed a couple of posts on one of the, I don't know if there's an Ann Dale Facebook group, or I'm not sure where I got it. It was so long ago, but I changed all of there is sort of a repeating pattern in here of this this little 4-leaf flower. It's there. It's up here in, let me see if I can find it again. Hold, please. Well, I changed them to eyelets. Oh, here's one right here. Okay, right here. I changed the stitches to eyelets in the middle of those. So that all, and I think every row has, there it is again. Every row has it. So it's kind of fun to see that. I really loved the eyelet stitches. This basket here, I changed to satin stitches. Somebody asked me, do I have a pattern? No, I think you can find it online. You can also just sort of follow the pattern and make it your own. So I don't have anything more specific than that. I didn't add any other specialty stitches to that, but I would say that don't be afraid of something that's big just because it's big. Just know that it's a commitment, and both in terms of resources like money to buy. This is a fat half of 40 count vintage patina from Lakeside. For the resources that I would dedicate, I really liked the overdyed. I could have bought the silks. The silks are gorgeous, but in terms of resource allocation, overdyeds were just fine with me, and they turned out gorgeous. So both would be beautiful. You could also convert it to DMC. You just wouldn't have the variegation probably, unless you chose a variegated DMC. So that was my big finish, and I appreciate everyone who's cheering me on. And Jenny Longdog says, you got to make that a priority. And so, oh man, I did. I got it done. Now I just need to set aside some resources for framing it. All right, let's see. Those are the whips and the finishes. since the last video, I do want to give a thank you to Glenda Dexter, who sent a care package, and it was amazing. It was amazing. She packed all kinds of treats and goodies in there. She sent grits from this. She's from the South. She sent me grits. We don't have grits here in Washington State. She sent a package of buttons, some fun vintage buttons. She sent some stitching accoutrements, some little vintage wooden spools. And she sent some more vintage kind of notions, accessories. I want to show you these. These kill me. Look at this. This is like, what did she call this? A button card, maybe? It's a woman's face. It's a button, and then it's got little doodads like a hat. And here's another one. I was cracking up. There's a blue one and an orange one. So I was cracking up when I saw that. She sent some, just aside, some vintage spools. And I think these are these drop spindles? I'm not sure. But they're fun little doodads to put in your house. Oh, and I want to say this. She sent these beautiful embroidered pillowcases. And she said an elderly lady stitched these during COVID, and it helped keep her hands busy and keep her calm. So what a special thing to share. Thank you so much, Glenda. You are a true treasure, and I appreciate you. Thanks for sending the goodies. Now, just a few things I want to point out. There is a giveaway. No, not a giveaway. There is an exclusive kit that you can order from Shepherd's Needle. It is through the Facebook group Homespun Needlework. Julie Cursive is the moderator, and she has arranged for exclusive kits that you can buy from designers on this Facebook group, and you buy it from a needlework shop who will kit it up for you. I'm going to insert a picture of it right here. So that is called, and that's by Needlework Press, who I love their stuff. Needlework Press, Mary Ann Aldred. And that swan and that colorway is amazing. So you knew I bought that like as soon as possible. And what else did I buy? I bought this from Kelly Stadola. So Kelly does these bitsy keeps. I think that's what they're called. And I was dying when I saw this. Look at this little, right? And all the pumpkin-y goodness. Like, I think this should be called pumpkin spice. What's it called? Fresh pumpkins. You can write the project name up here, put your threads down here, put your threads up here, stick a needle in there. This is handy. One of the best ways to get on Kelly's list of when these are released is to subscribe to her newsletter, and you can go to her channel for Kelly Stadola, Stodola. And it's very reasonable. Also, I have been on the hunt for more blackbird fabric, and I found some. This one, I got this, somebody tipped me off. This is from the Quilted Moose in Nebraska. Is that not gorgeous? This, I think, is going to be a blackbird quilt. This was on there for a while, and you know, the pictures don't do it justice. Somebody was selling this on eBay. There's this. This was a benefits charity. This, isn't that pretty? This looked like nothing on the picture. I love this fabric. This, and then I bought a lot of that. That's going to be maybe the back of the quilt. We'll see. And I think that's it that is it. What is going on? That's all my purchases in a month's time. Oh, I did buy the most recent pattern from Whilst Iris Naps, and I'll drop a picture of it in here because I love it. I know that the Contented Stitcher is working on it right now. And so I'm watching her on Instagram, but as soon as I saw this, I knew that this is something that I'm for sure going to stitch in the future. It's the right composition for my eye. It's the right colors for me too. So everybody, well, that's what I love about Flosstube, is that there's so much diversity in what people like to stitch that I am never bored watching Flosstube. And it may or may not be something I would stitch. Sometimes it's something that I look at and I go, I wasn't going to stitch that, but now I have to buy it. Or I'm thinking I'll buy it, but I might change it, right? So I love the freedom that we have to make it your own, right? To make the project the way you like it to be. Now, I'm not that far from 10,000 subscribers, and I don't push a lot of content. So sometimes it is what it is, but I do want to do an almost 10,000 subscriber giveaway, because by the time this hits 10,000, I'll probably be in the middle of the retreats that I'm going to, and I'm just going to get too busy. So I'm going to do this here, and I'm going to go ahead and give away 10 patterns. The first one is called a Kitchen Prayer. This is by Cottage Garden Samplings. This is: bless my cozy kitchen, bless my pots and pans, bless my stove that warmly glows, bless each friend that comes and goes. And isn't that sweet? You could even, if you didn't want to put the saying, you could just stitch this. So if you would like this particular one, please write kitchen. And I will do a keyword search, so to make sure that you list out everything that you want to buy, that you want to be entered for the giveaway. It comes out of a magazine. I don't know. I think I bought this off eBay, not knowing someone had pulled it out of a magazine, but it's a wedding sampler. It's a traditional wedding sampler, and it has a couple of swans on it. Sorry for the glare on this. So you can make it a wedding sampler, or you could change the inside of the cartouche to maybe make a saying that you like. If you like this one, please write swan. The next one is another wedding sampler. I think I got this off of Stash Unload. And I was going to stitch just this. Again, that will be a beautiful little pin keep right there. This is, I believe, a wedding sampler, but again, it's by Thea Gouverneur. I'm not sure how you say the name. But you could change this and make it not a wedding sampler. Change the colorway altogether. Wouldn't that be pretty? If you want this one, please write flowers. Now, this one. Okay, so this one's Carolyn Braden, 1801 by Threads of Gold. This is out of print. And I will say this, don't let the colorway of this keep you from stitching it, because this motif is little roses. These are beautiful flowers. This is the antique, but I am sure this is a gorgeous sampler. I'm sure that this is a gorgeous sampler when you stitch it. So if you would like this one, please write rose. The next one is Silver Creek Samplers, Northwind. And isn't that fun? I mean, that's a little, no, I know, okay. I better take this out before I get in trouble. The way it's packaged, it shows the, there. I didn't even see that when I put it up. Sorry about that. So this says, the north wind doth blow, we shall have snow, and what will the robin do then, poor thing? He'll fly in the barn to keep dry and warm, and tuck his head under his wing, poor thing. So if you would like this one, please write barn. Isn't that cute? How do people come up with this? That must be like a saying that was I don't know, in the Midwest or something. This I wanted to give away, and I'm going to pass the stash on this. Although I love this one, and I could see myself stitching it, I just have to go through my stash. It's a little crazy. And my husband says, what he says to me is, everything you buy, we have to move in a couple of years. So I was like, dang, talk about, subliminal messaging. But this one, if you would like this one, please write lavender. And then this is a Victoria Sampler Garden Rose. This is a sweet little garden sampler. So if you like this one, please write garden. All right, this one is beautiful too. Pat Rogers, the rose sampler. Okay, this is going to confuse you because I've already used the word rose. This one is really pretty. If you would like this one, please write sampler. Then a Glendon Place. I've got all kinds of patterns for you today. Glendon Place. I think Justin Marie did this one. This is called Give Thanks. And isn't that pretty? You could totally change it. That'd be pretty if you did like blacks and autumn colors. Wouldn't that be gorgeous? Like a hoity toity. Could do that colorway. If you'd like this one, please write thanks. And the last one is a fun one from Twin Peaks Primitives. This is, isn't that adorable? Look at the little truck full of pumpkins and kittens and birds. If you would like this one, please write Halloween. I think we've covered everything. I almost forgot to show you. I have my, I have a framed piece back from the framer. And so I'm going to insert this somewhere in the video. But this is Garden Party by Mirabilia. This is framed by Jill Rensel Studios out of Utah, and they are amazing to work with. And this mat is hand painted. It's a beautiful mat. This is the piece. I'm going to go back a little bit here, but this is stitched on 32 count witching hour by Under the Sea Fabrics. What you do is for their frame shop, if you mail, first of all, you email them, and they describe in their online shop how you do this. But you mail it to them, and they will interact with you just like Total Framing does, or other frame shops where you do it virtually. They'll give you some options, and so you pick from that, and then they come up with this amazing mat if you want the painted mat. And it was a surprise, so I didn't ask her what she was going to paint, which I love doing. I had a different frame in mind, and that frame was unavailable. And then there's this frame, which is beautiful. I think if I were to see it in person, though, I probably would have chosen something that was a little smaller. And now that I look at it, I would have chosen a dark frame so that it would have blended into the background, and the lanterns and the girls would have just absolutely popped off of that. And there might be a time in the future where I change the frame out for that reason. But sometimes, I mean, I trust them because they do an amazing job, and it's a beautiful piece. Please don't get me wrong. But I think I would have done something a little different if I'd seen it in person. So I thought I'd share that with you because, oh my gosh, I love this. They're spendy. You know, you get what you pay for, and there's a lot of work that goes into this. So it's worth every penny, but it does cost some pennies to get it done. So I highly recommend them. I hope to be back a little bit sooner next time. Between now and the next video, Lori and I will be at the attic, their retreat for summer school, and that's, I think, the 20th. So I should have a video after that. It might be 3 weeks instead of 2, but this time of year, honestly, people are out doing their own thing. It slows down a little bit in the summer in terms of video watching for me personally, and producing as well. But I hope you've enjoyed today's video. I hope you enter the giveaway. You have to be 18. I will ship anywhere in the world for this giveaway. And please use the keywords that I've mentioned for each of the charts, because that's how I will search for the winner. And I think that's it for now. I thank you so much for coming. I do want to say one thing, and that was so my husband's aunt who watches our kids passed away, and she was a really important person to us. We have a celebration of life to go to. It's a graveside service actually on Friday. And, and Barb passed away from Blackbird Designs. And so I was just thinking about this the other day. I think it's really hard, especially in America. We have a hard time with death and people passing away. It's just, I don't know what it is, but it's really a difficult thing. And I was reading online, somebody posted a little article or a meme, and they were talking about a young girl. She was in her 20s, so she was a woman, but she had a tattoo of a fork on her arm. And the person writing the little article said, I was talking with her and I asked her about this fork because she has no other tattoos on her body but this obvious fork. And he asked her, why do you have a fork on your arm? And she said, well, sometimes after church, you would have a luncheon, sort of a fellowship meal together. And it would be like a potluck, and people bring all the good things, right? All the comfort foods, the potluck foods, and you'd eat together. And then the tables are being cleared, and the people picking up the plates would say, hold on to your fork. You'll need that, right? And so she said to the person writing about her, so what do you think of when that happens? And what comes next? And of course, the answer is there's dessert next, right? And so this girl had a terminal illness. And she said, I think of life as we are eating our main course and we're just getting ready for dessert. So, Jeannie and Barb, I hope you are eating dessert right now in heaven. And I'm thinking about you, and we feel sad for ourselves because we're left behind. But I am thinking and hoping that you and praying for you that you are eating dessert right now. I hope you all have a great rest of your day and week, and I will see you in a few weeks. Take care.